7 who were taken hostage. And one of them was then murdered in Gaza, and the other 6 came back alive. And this father, he lives in a community nearby here. He would start coming to this hill every day, and out of the grief, just decided he wants to build something there, and he built this memorial site, and it also offers a very nice panorama look. But I knew there will be a lot of people there because there are always a lot of people there. So I brought you here, which is the secret of the locals. Because here you can also see very nicely. And again, I apologize. Usually in that direction, you can see a sliver of Mediterranean, but today there is a lot of dust. I moved here with my wife in 2014. We moved from Tel Aviv. And this kibbutz, it's very small, but it has a huge history. It's a symbol of Zionist resilience. Ever since it was built on the border, it was always a symbol of Israel holding on to the ground. And we decided, once the war in 2014 ended, to move from Tel Aviv to Nahal Oz. And we fell in love with the place, and we decided to make it our home and stay here. We got married in the kibbutz in 2016, the first wedding after the war, a small Israeli wedding with 400 guests. We built a house in the kibbutz, new house. We had 2 girls born. We became a family. And when I say 95% paradise, 5% hell, I mean that we lived in a beautiful kibbutz, surrounded by nature and fields and open areas. It's part of a very, very connected community. It's hard to explain a kibbutz to someone from outside, but it's a place where you don't need to enter your door to feel at home. The kibbutz member arrives at home when they enter the kibbutz. All the nature around here, we loved it. But there is also 5% hell. You live in the closest place to Gaza, and when there is a rocket or a mortar launched from Gaza to Nahal Oz, you have 7 seconds to reach shelter. Tel Aviv, you have a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Amira and I, we used to joke that, if we went to visit my parents in Tel Aviv and there was a siren, we could bathe the girls before we go to the shelter. 90 seconds, it's forever. In Nahal Oz, 7 seconds, boom. October 7, we woke up 6:30 in the morning from a barrage of mortars fired on our neighborhood. And we knew exactly what we had to do. In our house, like every house in the kibbutz, there is a safe room. It's important to understand, in Nahal Oz, the mamad is always the children's bedroom. Why? Because you have 7 seconds. So if there's a siren in the middle of the night, or 6:30 in the morning, you want the parents to run to the children and not the other way around. 7 seconds, it's nothing. And we are used to it, sadly, after all the years. So we run to the safe room. There's the heavy door of the mamad. We shut it down. There is this plate, iron plate that can cover the window. We use it to cover the window. The girls are sleeping. They don't wake up. My daughters, at the time 3.5 years old and 1 year and 9 months old, they are used to sirens. They are used to explosions because they grew up in Nahal Oz. And we as parents always had a policy of exhibiting calm so that they don't experience a trauma. Okay, there is a siren, we have to be in the safe room, we have to run for shelter, but we are safe, we are together, we are with you. And on that morning they continue to sleep, and we hear the explosions, 1, 2, 3, and we understand, okay, another round of fighting with Hamas has begun. But on that morning, the mortars don't stop. Boom, 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 non-stop. And around 7 a.m., everything changed. 3:45, we heard a knock on the window, and that's when we knew that we will survive. And the soldiers came in, my father came in, and it was a very emotional moment, especially for the girls who were waiting all those hours alone in the dark with no food. And in the next hours, our home became an evacuation point for the entire kibbutz. Basically, people from the neighborhood were all brought under our home. We had dozens of people there. After being alone in the dark all day, we suddenly had a lot of people, and basically the whole operation of the military to evacuate the kibbutz was managed from our living room. 7 p.m. the electricity came back, and we were able also to make dinner for all the people who gathered in our house, especially kids. We had like 12 kids at some point in the safe room with my 2 daughters. And around 10:30 p.m., buses arrived and began to evacuate us from the kibbutz. Overall, on that day, like I told you, we lost 16 people in the kibbutz, 16, and we had 8 people kidnapped. One of our friends, Tzachi Idan, was kidnapped alive, but after several months surviving in Gaza, he died. We don't know exactly under what circumstances. He is one of 44 hostages who were kidnapped alive but returned dead. The buses that arrived to the kibbutz, they took us to a kibbutz in the north of Israel, near Haifa. It's called Kibbutz Mishmar HaEmek, and they have dormitories, and each family from Nahal Oz received a room. 4 mattresses on the floor. We could not take him with us, by the way, because he's too big. We had to leave him in the house with the soldiers, and we came to pick him back only after 48 hours. But he was cool, as you can see. And Kibbutz Mishmar HaEmek has been hosting families from Nahal Oz until today. We are about 30 families there. We are now 2 years later. The war is over. Nahal Oz, about 45% of the population has returned to the kibbutz, which is not bad. Most of the families with the kids, like my family, are still not full-time, and we are preparing, now that the war is over, to return also with the girls, not tomorrow morning, but in the near future. Let's say I had a gun and I would try to use it on October 7th. I would not be here today. I would be dead. Okay. I don't think of myself so highly that I could fight a team of 5. I had 5 surrounding my house with Kalashnikovs, grenades, RPG, and ceramic vests to defend them. So thank God I did not have a gun, because I would be dead. In a normal country, they would do, you know what they would do in Japan? Harakiri. If I was responsible for 1,200 people being butchered, okay, raped, kidnapped children, kidnapped to Gaza. We had an 8-year-old and a 15-year-old, 2 sisters. Their father was murdered, their mother was murdered. They were kidnapped by Hamas for 52 days in Gaza. If I was responsible for this, I would finish it. These people are shameless, okay? Now, Hamas is to blame. The blame is of Hamas, but the responsibility to not let this happen is on the government of Israel. I supported the war in Gaza when it started. I think it was a justified and necessary war. I stopped supporting it, I would say about after, I don't know, a year perhaps. I think there was a point we should have stopped and said, okay, we did a lot of damage to Hamas and a lot of damage to Gaza, and now let's make a deal and get the hostages. And I think the last year of the war, I'm not talking about Iran, this is a different question, but the last year of the war in Gaza, Israel lost more than it gained. We lost a lot of soldiers, we lost a lot of hostages, and we lost the support of all the world. And I think we should have stopped it a long time ago. The last 2 years were the most difficult for me of my life. First, October 7, when so many friends of mine died or lost a loved one, like let's say somebody who was not my friend, but is the brother of my friend. Okay, so I feel for my friend who lost a brother. And then those who were kidnapped, like the 15-year-old girl that was kidnapped from my kibbutz, she was the babysitter of our daughters. Okay? We have a friend in Kibbutz Be'eri. His son was murdered. His daughter-in-law, the wife of his son, was murdered. 3 of his grandchildren were kidnapped. And they all came back alive after 50 days. But to have his grandchildren, 3 grandchildren, 50 days. And I can tell you that one thing that happened over the last 2 years, we lost several friends to heartbreak. Heartbreak. People, we had a friend in the kibbutz who, he was more than a friend, he was like our adoptive father. When you come to a community like a kibbutz, it's a young couple, they usually take an older couple that will guide you and kind of help you. And the man who had that role in our life, his name was Eitan, he was a veteran kibbutz member, he's the same age as my parents. And he told us when we arrived, your parents are in Tel Aviv, for everything you need in the kibbutz, I am like your father. And he took care of us all the years. And he died 3 months ago from broken heart basically, because he lost 60 people in different communities here that were his friends. So you carry it with you, it's weight on your shoulder.